Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, here we are after market close on Wednesday, November 3rd. We're going to take a look at SoFi. So SoFi having another great day today. We're going to take a look at the daily chart first here and sort of get a sense of everything. And then we're going to flip over and look at some data. And then I'll come back and look at the intraday, just so that if folks aren't that interested in the intraday, that I don't start off with a 4 or 5 minute walkthrough of the daily action and make those folks sort of wait. So hopefully that's helpful in some way, shape, or form. SoFi continuing to walk up here. Now, on this chart even, now you really see like this bigger cup even taking shape, right? I was looking at this earlier today, and I actually think that it's worth putting in an extra resistance level right about here, which is right about where it ended up today. And that's not particularly why I spotted it. I was looking at it because, partially, but I spotted it because I was looking at how big this cup is looking now, right? We were looking at this cup and handle earlier, but now it's almost like a bigger cup forming, and this sort of being like one of the stops along the way there. But there was this resistance, that then got pushed down, but there's also resistance back here. There's support that flipped to resistance there. And then there's some resistance in the vicinity there as well as here. So potentially sort of like a stopping point on the way to 25 will probably be this like 2371 stickiness. So we'll sort of see how that continues to play out. But otherwise, just putting in another phenomenal day. It's a beautiful candle yesterday. And then today coming in and, getting some selling pressure for sure around that 2371 marker. But certainly to be expected. To be honest, like stringing together this slew of days is really remarkable. The last, I guess at this point, going on about 2 months have really been pretty fantastic, and especially the last month or 5 weeks or so. But continuing to even outpace this pretty steep uptrend support line, it's just sort of hovering way up above it at this point. So continuing to check boxes and, pretty interesting motion there on the daily, but this is all looking fantastic, as we've been saying for a while. All signs are looking good. Now on the data side of things, getting pretty close to our price targets here. And I would be surprised if anything changes prior to earnings. So, if we kind of get past this $24 price target by then, and I don't know that folks are really hitching their wagon to analyst price consensus targets at this point. They're probably more so looking at the price action, looking at the prospects for bank charter, for earnings to be really good, what have you, and more paying attention to that. So I'm less concerned about what's going on there at the moment, but I'm hoping that post earnings, that there's a lot of good action and activity that comes out of that, so that hopefully that will help us, if there is a tailwind that comes from earnings, that will help us ride that even higher and further. The price change last month over 37%, really remarkable. Now the short interest today jumping up quite a bit. So coming up 10.88% per Ortex estimates today, still putting SoFi short interest as a percentage of the free float just 8.74%. So in that sense, not really concerning, but one of the bigger jumps up in recent days that we've seen. So definitely something to keep an eye on as we get closer and closer to earnings. Days to cover is coming down a bit from 1.84 7 days ago to 1.7 now. So that's actually a little bit of a release of pressure from the short side of things. Utilization still very low, as you would imagine, but like I said, bigger uptick than we've seen recently. So I'll be keeping an eye on that as we go along. This I thought was really, really impressive today. This is pretty crazy. So unusual whales, if you are unfamiliar with unusual whales, it's worth a visit to unusualwhales.com. It's worth a visit to their Twitter at unusual_whales. And you can take a look at there and see, exactly what they do. But this is a pretty crazy stat. So they alerted today that there was some large orders placed for 2022, January 21st. Okay, so January 21st of next year, so in just a couple months, somebody was selling $35 put options, as SoFi was $23.54. And they sold these at the bid. So is what someone was bidding to buy that put for, they were like, yeah, just take it. I won't even ask you for more. Just take it. We want to sell these. And so you see this volume pretty dramatically outpacing the open interest. And this is pretty crazy. So somebody is basically placing a bet that by January 21st of 2022, the SoFi will be over $35. And thus, if they've sold that put, they would collect the premium. And because the price is no longer under $35, they can just keep that premium. January 1st, 2022 on the options chain. January 21st. I didn't look at this before. 2022 puts $35. So $12.75 right now. When they sold it, it was they took $1,200. So per contract, they took $1,200 per contract. So daily money volume of 1.2 million. This is just a crazy bet. I mean, there's speculation down here like bank charter. Selling these is extremely bullish, yes. Basically, a bet that SoFi will be above $35 by January 21st. I mean, that's pretty nuts. I'm just sort of sitting here stunned. I mean, I saw this earlier today, but it still is sort of like really dramatic to me. But anyway, I just wanted to share that. But outside of SoFi, please, it's worth a look, especially if you're interested in options. Probably less so if you're not familiar with options or it's just confusing to you. But if you are, or you're interested or whatever, it's worth a look at Unusual Whale's website and their Twitter feed and stuff like that. Before we flip back to the chart, I will re-mention that in the description below, the very first line is a feedback form that I have. Folks have been asking about a Patreon, and I'm sort of considering it. I don't know if I want to do it or not, but I want to see what folks would expect, what they think it would look like, and that sort of thing. So that form is a space for you to share some of those ideas and thoughts that you have, and I would really appreciate if you'd share anything there. Another question that I've gotten since putting that form out, some folks have said, keep doing your YouTube videos for free. I will still keep doing my YouTube videos for free. This would be in addition to that. As I look to a possibility of doing this more frequently or more, say, full time or something like that, I would need to replace like income and things like that. So this is in an effort to say, okay, if I were to spend most of the day online looking at the stock market and providing updates and whatnot, what would that look like? And what would that look like from a Patreon perspective? And yeah, still, I would continue to put out the free videos on YouTube. So that's not a question here. All right, intraday on SoFi. So a couple of things. So I was tweeting a few things out today, and you can certainly go look at my Twitter feed. That is in the description below as well, if you want to see what I was looking at. But basically, there was a few bounce zones that I was looking at, but it was relatively boring day today, to be honest. It came up and then immediately bounced off of 2289, which we had charted on the daily. And I keep telling people this is why we chart these zones. They keep showing up again and again and again. So kudos if you saw that double bottom there turn green and make a run. And then it stopped just 8 cents shy. Now this 23.71 I didn't have there before, so I'm not going to pretend like I had that earlier today. But it stopped here today and certainly wasn't going to make a run toward 25, which is the next level up that I have at this point. Came back down, sort of chopped around the VWAP and then got stuck, right? That's a very clear, hey, I'm hitting my head on the VWAP and moving away. But surprising to me, to be honest, I thought that it was going to have a larger sell-off here, but it was able to just catch and retain support at that 22.89 for most of the day. Tried another run here, late in the day at the VWAP and just failed, but then continued to catch itself at this 22.89. So that's why I say relatively boring day. I mean, it basically ended the day where it was at like 11:30 in the morning. and all of the in between was just kind of hubbub. I mean, to that extent, you could almost say that it ended the day where it was at 10 a.m. and just had like this hour and a half of like, jumping around a little bit in between. But I mean, who can scoff at a plus 1.23% day after the month or months that we've had lately? I mean, really, really remarkable. This is why I said yesterday that I felt like yesterday was a really solid show of strength after such a big green day the day before. So all things are looking really solid to me. And I don't really know what else to say about it, but I hope you're smiling. All right, folks. In any case, I hope that your trading week is going well and that you're able to finish the week off strong in the days ahead. And as always, I appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video.